I think tells you that there's a really good chance that he'll try to take Greenland. And
Um, but yeah, that brings me back to my question though. The Europeans, they stayed relatively quiet on this. I think they hoped that their obedience would be rewarded, but instead, their, I guess, spinelessness is being punished. I think Trump smells weakness, and now he sets his eyes on Greenland. Is this? Do you think this is real? Because it does seem to go beyond mere rhetoric to distract, though.
do you are you asking me, do I think there's a real possibility that he will
Yeah.
take Greenland?
Or is it just, is this some like a reality show tactic where he shifts the focus, or do you think that the United States will take Greenland now?
I think there is a serious possibility the United States will take Greenland. In a certain sense, I think that people like you and me find it hard to imagine the United States invading Greenland and taking it and turning it into the 51st state. It's kind of just hard to comprehend us doing that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Trump did it. Uh, if you look at Trump and how he thinks about using military force, uh, he is willing to use military force frequently. I believe that he's used military force against 7 different countries since taking office, and he's almost at the 1 year point uh, of his term in the presidency. Remember, he became president last January 20th, so we're close to January 20th. So in the past year, he's attacked 7 different countries. This includes Iran, Iraq, Syria, and a handful of other countries, Venezuela as well, obviously. But the distinguishing characteristic of all those attacks is that they were small scale attacks. They were what I call pinpricks. And he's been very careful not to get involved in nation building, not to get involved in a forever war. He understands that that's one thing you don't want to do. Remember the attack against Iran on June 22nd of last year. That's 2025. It was a 1 day affair. He attacked Iran, declared victory at the end of the day, and said the problem is solved, finished, and then moved on. And of course, if you look at what he recently did in Nigeria, he lobbed a couple missiles at Nigeria. Uh, but that was the end. He didn't get involved in any meaningful way in Nigeria. So when you talk about Venezuela and Greenland, the big question that's on everybody's mind with regard to Venezuela, is he going to end up in a forever war? Is this the first case where he's tripping himself up? Has he jumped into a quagmire? And I think the administration believes that that's not the case, that they can do this on the cheap. It's sort of a pinprick operation. They kidnap Maduro, and they bring him to the United States, and then they prop up the vice president as the new president, and they use economic coercion to get her to dance to our tune. I think that's their view. And it's another pinprick operation in the end. With regard to Greenland, right, it would not be difficult for the United States to conquer Greenland. It's not going to be World War I or even a war, I think. I think the American military can take Greenland with relative ease. And when you look at Trump's pattern of behavior, how willing he is to use military force when you can do it on the cheap, and you can get away with it. I mean, he'll get away with it uh, politically. I mean, the Europeans will scream for a while, but in the end, it's not going to matter very much. They're not going to put up very much resistance. He has no respect for the Europeans. So the fact that he can do it rather cheaply, that it could be portrayed as another pinprick operation, I think tells you that there's a really good chance that he'll try to take Greenland. And to go back to Venezuela, the
Yeah, and I think that we'll go to Greenland before we go to war with Iran, and that's because we have a meeting in China in April. And if America were to go to war with Iran first before they go to war with before they take Greenland, because when we go to war with Iran, we will close the Strait of Hormuz, and that's where China would get its oil from. And if we were to go to the deal in April, we wouldn't get what we wanted. Okay, and most likely, Trump is doing this Venezuela attack because he wants to show China that he's the boss, and that when we're gonna go to the and make a deal, is that you're gonna make the deal that I want. Okay, because you're not getting what you want around you. You understand? Before Venezuela was being attacked, Venezuela had Chinese representatives there, and they were making a deal of some sort. And then boom, Trump takes out Maduro. So the future is going to be more bumpy, guys, more tumultuous than it is now.
The big issue on the table is whether or not he's going to get dragged into a quagmire or not, in terms of getting dragged into the business of nation building, or whether he uh, will be able to pull this off quickly and easily.
Yeah. Well, I saw Stephen Miller. He was interviewed, and he made a point. He was asked, would you use military force to take Greenland? And he was kind of dismissive of the whole idea that, well, the Europeans aren't going to fight back. So you just essentially sail in and plant a flag, and that's it. It's probably correct, though. There wouldn't be a fight. Um, but have you been surprised by the European reaction to this? Because overall, it seems over the past even year now, the all the liberal values which were supposed to unite the West, it kind of fell apart in a spectacular way. Not just the reluctance to find a diplomatic path in Ukraine, but also the genocide in Gaza, backing an ISIS leader to take power in Syria, by supporting the destruction of.
Yeah, so that's the end of the video, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay, we're trying to get to 1,000, inshallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And watch this video next.
Iran's nuclear